Believe that we are now live.
It looks like it.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. We are broadcasting our 30th virtual annual meeting from several locations throughout the state. Vinny, I think you got your wish that we would have our annual meeting in Woonsocket. It just took a public health emergency to get us there.
Here we are.
Here we are. Go ahead, Vinny, if you want to start us off.
All righty. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care's 30th Board. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of Home Care Services of Rhode Island.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has been an honor to serve as president of the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care over these past 2 years. While I did not anticipate that we would be meeting virtually to celebrate our 30th anniversary as an association, I am excited to participate in this format and share the mission of advancing quality health care at home with those viewing this event online. These past 6 months have been a challenging time in our history. We are fighting several fronts. While our primary attention has been on protecting our frontline staff and continuing to develop optimal care to our patients and clients during the COVID-19 public health emergency, we also recognize our polarizing environment around us. Our state and our nation are struggling to grapple with its history where inequalities continue today. Despite the precautions of the pandemic, there has been an uprise of those on our streets fighting to close the gaps toward equality for all, ending injustice and discrimination, and moving toward a future where we stand hand in hand as one Rhode Island and one America. This has been inflamed by an upcoming election where we are fighting for the very soul of our nation. There are two diverging directions proposed for us at the ballot box this November. How does this impact home care? The political issues before us impact our ability to be reimbursed at a rate that we can provide meaningful and competitive wages to our frontline workforce and our office staff, our ability to safely provide care in every neighborhood at any hour without fear for our nurses, nurse assistant, social workers, homemakers, physical therapists, occupational therapists, or speech and language pathologists being subjected to violence over the color of their skin, their cultural attire, their gender identity, or their orientation. Some of these protests are not peaceful, and they scare our workers away from staying in home care. These frontline heroes are some of the very same people in which these protesters intend to fight for their equality, but that message and these actions should include their freedom to work and care for their patients and clients. Over the course of the COVID-19 emergency declaration, the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care has stood by its provider members, their frontline heroes, their patients, clients, and families as well. We began asking questions to our state and federal leaders and regulators. While we have emergency preparedness and response plans as required by our national accreditation, experience a once-in-a-century pandemic anticipated to last a year or more is not something which any healthcare provider in any part of the sector, nor our government partners, were adequately prepared for. When our questions were not being answered and our industry was not being prioritized, we took action. We developed guidelines telling our state health department, hospitals, and nursing homes how we will be admitting patients into home care and what protocols that they needed to follow in order to transfer patients into our care. Not one nursing home, not one hospital, and not one state or federal regulator questioned our actions or failed to comply with our bold handling of the early days of this crisis. We had to take action in the absence of guidance from those that heavily regulate our industry and those that could have easily spiked the curve of COVID-19 infection rates under their previous discharge procedures. We did this without the support from anyone else but the partnership. Our state health department was essentially missing in action, and our governor was encouraging prospective clients to utilize an unsafe online referral website that did not delineate any of the $1.25 billion in state aid from the Federal CARES Act to support home care over these past 6 months. The partnership held multiple briefings per week on issues that impacted our ability to deliver optimal care, clinical information, and emergency changes to federal regulations. We utilized experts in medicine, labor, and emergency response to guide us through the pandemic and allowed us to ask unlimited questions and receive guidance where there was not enough support from the state. The partnership continues to provide us exclusive information on how to best care for our patients and clients and keep our operations afloat, protect and advocate for our staff, and lead us to a post-pandemic future. As I said, I hoped that our message could have been shared in person. However, there is hope in our message, a willingness to work with our partners, and an opportunity to elevate all home care providers and their frontline workforce. We never strayed from our mission of advancing healthcare, quality healthcare at home, and we continue to lean on one another as community of elite providers. To those that are members, thank you for your support during my presidency. To our supporters, please keep advocating for our industry. To our patients and clients and their families, you will continue to receive safe and optimal care through a provider within the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care. Finally, to our staff, we cannot express enough gratitude. You made the difficult choice to come to work when you were financially incentivized to stay at home. We wish that our reimbursement rates were strong enough to pay you better wages. You deserve at least 25% more than what our governor allows. While there is not room to pay you what you should earn, we will always advocate for you, fight for higher wages and benefits, and fight against duplication and competing programs that encourage subpar care to our most vulnerable homebound Rhode Islanders. Thank you, and I turn the program over to Nicholas Oliver, our Executive Director.
Thank you, Vinny. So when we host in-person annual meetings, I provide an address with an update to our programs and initiatives, the status of our operations, the financial health of our association, and the direction of our advocacy. This year, we commemorate our 30th anniversary as an association. We have grown from an organization working toward building a brand for our local industry, a reliable source for information, and a network of reputable providers and their vendors, to the only association advocating for optimal care with vast resources of clinical and regulatory guidance for successful operations and a team fighting for a brighter future for our industry and our frontline heroes. While I can provide the specifics of these updates when we are in person again, I wish to take a different approach this year to my address. Our members received a letter from me on March 27th, 2020, the anniversary date of our founding as an association. The concept was born, the need was well defined, and the membership was forming. This is what I said to commemorate the day. Congratulations. 30 years ago today, a small group of administrators of home care provider companies came together to establish a trade association to support the industry at the state level. During the early years of our association, striving to be a quote unquote united voice for our local industry, to our current mission of advancing quality healthcare at home. The partnership has grown to be a comprehensive organization advocating for homemaker and personal care attendant companies, home health agencies, home infusion companies, and palliative care and hospice providers. As the partnership matured as an association, we have built our brand to ensure that all of our members are focused on patient-centered care, adhering to ethical business practices, and delivering the highest quality healthcare services in the homes of all Rhode Islanders all across the state. No one could have imagined 30 years ago that the partnership would face its most challenging time as a result of the global pandemic. Not only are our provider members directly impacted by this crisis, our associate members that distribute medical supplies and equipment, offer professional education, and ensure provider operations are facing acute challenges to serve the timely needs of our industry. We are all looking to our federal and state leaders and regulators for swift solutions and guidance. But they are continuing to fall short because they are currently hyper-focused on healthcare delivered in settings other than at home and in the community. Despite these shortfalls, the partnership and its members have stepped up to seek solutions, share information and best practices, and support one another as cooperative competitors. Together, we have taken action that quickly and decisively reduced our industry's risk of spiking the curve of community spread. As a result of the action steps taken to support our members in this time of the current pandemic, the partnership has become a model association that other associations across the country are following. When the isolation period of the COVID-19 response expires and society returns to a level of normalcy, the partnership will continue to offer strong advocacy at all levels of government to improve the clinical and operational climate for home-based healthcare services, professional education opportunities to enhance the high quality care that your companies are delivering, and networking opportunities to enjoy camaraderie with your peers in our industry. Thank you for adding value to the lives of over 20,000 homebound Rhode Islanders needing healthcare at home and approximately 7,800 people employed by our local industry, our true heroes in home care. May we continue to grow as an industry and thrive in a time where more Rhode Islanders demand home care. I am proud to lead your association and express my gratitude every chance that I can to all those that dedicate their time and their treasure toward advancing quality health care at home. Again, congratulations on our 30th anniversary. I am looking forward to celebrating with you this milestone for our association and industry. Thank you for your membership within our association and for your contributions to continually raise the standards for our industry, even while facing adversity. Homebound Rhode Islanders benefit from the care that you deliver. Thank you. At this time, I have the privilege to transition the program to our Secretary-Treasurer, Cheryl LeVake.
Good morning. I'm Cheryl LeVake, Executive Director for Patient Care Services with Home Care Advantage. On June 11th, 2020, the partnership's Board of Directors unanimously voted to adopt a statement of inclusion. While the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care holds longstanding values of supporting diversity and inclusion, the association did not have a written statement that reflects our values. In light of the series of recent events and unprecedented responses from companies and associations across the globe, this opened our eyes to the need for our association to publicly state our concerns about discrimination that some of our colleagues, patients, and clients face daily. Rhode Island, like the rest of the country, is a melting pot that should not celebrate its diversity and inclusion, None of our fellow Rhode Islanders should continue to face barriers based on the color of their skin. The Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care, as the state's association for healthcare service providers, delivering optimal personal care attendant home nursing, home infusion, palliative care, and hospice, recognizes diversity and inclusion as an essential component of our mission towards advancing quality healthcare at home. We vehemently reject social injustice and barriers to equality in any form. We encourage all our members to continue to foster workforce diversity and to act as meaningful agents towards change to end inequalities and expand efforts contributing towards a better Rhode Island. As community leaders and employers, we believe that this is a time to listen and to change. While the answers to solving inequalities are complex, multifaceted, and reach far beyond the healthcare services that we deliver, home care as an industry and the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care as an association by its nature has always been a leader in diversity, advocating for equality, and creating jobs and career ladders for all. Throughout the history of our organization, we have fought and will continue to fight for a dignified wage and benefits for nursing assistants, nurses, social workers, therapists, and office staff that values the quality care that they deliver in every zip code. We led and will continue to lead the charge to have equal access to home care for all Rhode Islanders in their time of need, especially when we have and continue to face barriers by our state and federal governments and their elected and appointed representatives. We want and will continue to advocate for home care workers to receive the respect and appreciation for the work being done every day to keep homebound Rhode Islanders safe and independent with supports regardless of their housing status, race, nationality, religion, sexual orientation, gender identification, or physical, behavioral, and cognitive abilities. Unequivocally, we are Rhode Islanders that stand in support of fellow Rhode Islanders. Unilaterally, we are leaders and employers that support our dedicated employees. And unconditionally, we are healthcare providers that care for our patients, our clients, and their families. It is a time to elevate the wage for home care nurse assistants through substantive reimbursement rate increases by government and commercial insurers to support this change. It is a time to end inadequate alternative home care delivery systems that provide subpar quality to minority and disabled patients and clients alike. Through these actions, our elected leaders will demonstrate that our community values home care workers, many of whom are persons of color, for their work is not just a job, but a profession with a career track and healthcare setting of choice for a meaningful career. Our statement is now policy for the association and standard in which we hold all of our members to account for. I now turn the program over to Ashley Sadlier, Public Policy Committee Chair.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'm Ashley Sadlier, Director of Government Affairs for Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New York with Bayada Home Healthcare. I'm excited to talk briefly about the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care's initiative to educate voters during the 2020 election. Today is day 185 since Governor Raimondo declared a state of public health emergency for our COVID-19 responses. We have received very little clinical guidance and PPE assistance and support since March 9th, 2020. We need help from the General Assembly to support home care, its frontline workers and their patients, clients, and families. Through our Political Action Committee with the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care, we launched this year's campaign to educate home care voters. I am a home care voter. This means that I, along with tens and thousands of voters across Rhode Island, consider issues impacting the optimal delivery of healthcare services to homebound patients and clients and the advocacy towards meaningful and sustainable wages for all frontline home healthcare workers. When I casted my ballot during the primary election 2 days ago, and will cast my ballot for the November 3rd, 2020 general election. Supporting home care, such as homemaking, personal care, attendant services, home health, home infusion, palliative care, hospice are all apolitical on the surface. However, our association, its members, their patients and clients, as well as their families and our direct care workforce, have learned that funding and resources controlled by our elected officials impacts our ability to expand access to healthcare services in the home, stability in home care hours delivered each week, and dignified wages to those 7,800 plus Rhode Islanders serving on the front line delivering healthcare daily in over 20,000 homes across the Ocean State. The Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care's PAC officially launched its Bring the Vote Home Rhode Island campaign for the 2020 election cycle to educate all candidates for the Rhode Island General Assembly on issues impacting home care. 239 candidates for the 75 House of Representatives seats and the 38 Senate seats received our 2020 candidate survey that identifies pressing issues impacting their constituents that utilize home care or work in our industry. Regardless of a candidate's political affiliation, we are learning more about these candidates, their experiences with home care, and their level of commitment to support our industry, our patients and clients, their families, and our workforce. I encourage you to learn more about the Bring the Vote Home Rhode Island campaign on our website, www.riphc.org, and read the responses received thus far from candidates for state senator and state representative. Thank you, and I will now turn the program to Lori Ellison, immediate past president for the association's Board of Directors election results.
Thank you, Ashley. Good morning, everyone. I am Lori Ellison, Administrator of Cohesive Home Care located in Warwick, and as the immediate past president of the Board of Directors, I have the privilege of serving as the nominating committee chair and overseeing this year's election. In accordance with Article 5, Section 3 of the Partnership's bylaws, the notice of election was distributed electronically to all qualified voting members. Due to the COVID-19 public health emergency, the partnership was not able to conduct an in-person election for its board of directors and officers for the coming term. Instead, we held a 60-day open election period through a secure online voting system as recommended by the American Society of Association Executives and the New England Society of Association Executives. The results of the election are as follows. Elected as at-large directors for a 2-year term, Director Dean DiNuccio, JD, CPA, General Manager, a Caring Experience Nursing Service in Cranston. Director Colin Hanrahan, Chief Executive Officer of Independent Health Services in Providence. Director Kathleen Pierce, RN, BSN, MS, Vice President of Operations, Executive Director and Chief Nursing Officer for Visiting Nurse Association of Care New England in Warwick, and Director Bethany Skinner, Vice President of Healthcare Services in Providence. Elected as an at-large director for a 1-year term is Naomi Catrone, Chief Executive Officer of Right at Home, Rhode Island, located in Warwick. Continuing for the remainder of their 2-year term is Director Dawn Pareca Antea, Chief Operating Officer for Southern New England for MAS Medical Staffing and MAS Home Care of Rhode Island and Massachusetts. And Director Irene Chi, RN, Administrator of Hope Nursing Home Care in Cranston. Transitioning to the immediate past president is Vincent Ward, President and Chief Executive Officer of Home Care Services of Rhode Island in Woonsocket. The officers elected are as follows. Secretary Treasurer Ashley Sadler, Director of Government Affairs for Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New York for Bayada Home Health Care. Vice President Cheryl Levake, Executive Director of Patient Care Services for Home Care Advantage, located in Cranston. And President Michael Bigney, CPA, Chief Executive Officer and Administrator for Home Health and Hospice Care of Nursing Placement in Pawtucket. I'd like to congratulate our 2021 Board of Directors and officers. I now have the privilege to welcome for the first time as our incoming President, Michael Bigney. Bigney as our next speaker.
Thank you, Lori, for the introduction and for your leadership, as well as Vinnie's and the rest of the board over the past few years. I intend to lean on both of you for advice and to ensure a smooth transition in leadership. To the members of the partnership, thank you for your confidence in my leadership, association's direction into its 4th decade. Our mission is clear. We are advancing quality healthcare at home. Through the consummate dedication of Nicholas steering us toward opportunities and guiding us through political struggles, we have navigated through crises and elevated our industry. Over the next 2 years, we are going to face challenges beyond COVID-19. We have an insurgence of anti-business politicians trying to win elections against our champions on Smith Hill. Our champions have supported home care and fought special interests in duplicative programs that hurt quality home care for homebound Rhode Islanders. We need to become more strategic and, dare I say, aggressive against those that do not support home care and are not our friends and are not friends of our online heroes. Our workforce are heroes, and I cannot wait until this public health emergency ends so that we can honor our heroes appropriately. From the nurses, therapists, social workers, homemakers, and nurse assistants on the front line to those in the office that keep our operations running, they are all healthcare heroes. Without meaningful and sustainable financial support and access to resources from Governor Raimondo for all our heroes, these heroes stand by our side and continue to deliver optimal care, overcoming fear from possible COVID-19 exposure and neglect by this administration. I echo the comments of my colleagues in expressing appreciation for all of you. During my time as president, I will continue the fight for competitive wages and benefits that recognize your value and the same scope of work as if you were in a facility-based healthcare setting. The partnership has been the only association fighting for you throughout these past 30 years and will continue to fight for you and with you. Again, thank you for electing me as your next president. Congratulations to all those elected to the board of directors, especially Cheryl for her elevation as vice president and Ashley on becoming a board officer. I am excited to work with you as a team over the next term. Before I transition back to Vinnie, I want to express my appreciation on behalf of the board of directors and the membership. Normally, we would have a special presentation for the outgoing president during our annual meeting. Because of the social distancing requirements and the move to a virtual meeting, we do not have the opportunity to honor Vinnie as we would have liked. Yet Nicholas did deliver Vinnie's plaque earlier this week and thanked Vinnie for his leadership on our behalf. Vinnie, congratulations. On behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you. I think you've been an awesome president and I have big shoes to fill. I just hope I have my hair left at the end of my term. If you would please show everyone your plaque in recognition of your time as president, if you'll do that, Vinnie. And I turn the program over to you to close this virtual annual meeting.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the kind words, but I couldn't have done it without the whole executive committee and all the members of the partnership, and I couldn't have done it without Nicholas running the show. So I appreciate everyone's help in this. I do want to apologize. The first part of my speech, I was not looking directly at the camera because my teleprompter wasn't working. So I apologize for that. But anyway, I want to thank you all for your help. I'm looking forward to transitioning the presidency to you, Michael, and know that the association will be led well in your care. Thank you again to our resilient members, my executive committee, and my predecessor, Lori. I also want to thank Nicholas for his leadership, especially during the early phase of COVID-19. And I'm going to tell you, if there's someone that you want to clap for Nicholas for the effort that he put in all those meetings. There were about approximately, was it 25 meetings? Nicholas, how many in all?
Total, 25 in total.
25 different meetings that we held that were attended by most of the members, if you looked at the count of the people in the Zoom meetings. So we really appreciate that. If there was ever a time that I gained the most out of my membership with the partnership to date, it was during those first couple of months. I also want to thank my staff for supporting my presidency. I'm blessed to work with the greatest heroes within our industry. The care and compassion for our patients, clients, and their families are unparalleled. While I started my business before my youngest child was born, Abby is the inspiration that keeps us going. Like many of my company's patients, Abby is medically fragile, nonverbal, and requires a wheelchair. We are seeing more children like Abby outlive their life expectancy due to advances in medical technology and the quality care that we provide. I'm thankful for the support from my children and the love from my wife, Nancy, that contributed to my success in this role over the past 2 years. Again, I do want to thank everybody that has stood by me and helped. I would apologize if I didn't do as perfect a job as I could have done. This whole COVID thing made a complete change in the way we normally do business in this state as a partnership. And I look forward to the next couple of years. Hopefully we can get COVID behind us at some point in the not too distant future, whether it's by vaccine or just by everyone having had it. Who knows what'll happen eventually. But I look forward to the next few years, and Michael running the show from here, and I know we've got quite capable hands for him doing that. So I want to thank everybody, and I look forward to the next several years in the Rhode Island Partnership for Home Care. So thank you to everyone that attended the meeting or watched the meeting, and unfortunately we couldn't do it in person. I would have much preferred that. Thank you very much. Nicholas, I'll just turn it back to end the meeting. Turn it back to you.
Thank you, everyone, for participating today through our virtual annual meeting. This is certainly something that is different for all of us. It's the first time that we've ever broadcasted live on social media. So thank you to the outgoing and incoming executive committee for working through this this experiment, if you will. And thank you to everybody who has watched the video live or will watch the video of our annual meeting at a later date. I just want to stress that the message that we're conveying today is truly a message of partnership and aligned with our mission of advancing quality healthcare at home. We want to work together with all of our stakeholders to make sure that everyone that needs healthcare at home receives optimal care, and to again express our appreciation to all of our frontline workers, especially all those that work in our industry. We cannot thank you enough. We cannot appreciate you enough. But what we can do is fight for you as hard as we can, and even strive to do harder to make sure that you are adequately compensated, to receive competitive wages and benefits, and finally receive the recognition and appreciation that you deserve, not just by us who already appreciate and love all of you, but also by those that provide payment for services such as our health insurers and our state and government partners that pay for the services that our patients and clients receive. So with that, we will end our virtual 30th annual meeting. Thank you all for watching, and we look forward to having an in-person event next year for our 31st.